Today I'm going to continue talking about people and the earth and our interactions. The reason we focus on how people use the earth is because we all share the same space. We're all sharing the same air, the same water, the same global system. And it's an interconnected system. So how some people use their earth on one continent and one country impacts other people in other countries. There are 7 billion of us and counting, and the size of the amount of the earth that we each get to meet our basic needs is getting smaller and smaller every year. And we're seeking to find sustainable ways to interact with the environment. We talked about sustainable ways are ways that we leave something for future generations, that we use the earth and we use the resources in a renewable way so that there is some left for people who come after us. Settlement patterns. And remember, settlement patterns are how people organize themselves in relationship to the land. And they can vary in size, density, function, purpose, and arrangement on the land. So size meaning how actually large the settlement is, how much of the area it takes up. Density, how high the population is, how low the population is in that area. Function or purpose, what is their economy like, what did they use the land for. And their arrangement on the land. Is it linear, is it scattered, is it clustered? And I'll get more into that in a further slide. Why do we study patterns? Geographers study patterns because they want to learn how people distribute themselves around the earth. And they want to learn how they interact with the environment, how they use the natural resources in one region over another region. So they want to understand why in one area it has a high density and a really good quality of life and a strong economy, where in another country that may have the same density has a lower quality of life and a lower economy. And understanding those connections and working on ways we can balance those things out. And learning how relationships develop and ideas move between communities. So, especially with new technology, the sharing of information and new technology is so fast and can happen across oceans. To see how communities develop with the sharing of knowledge and the movement of people. People are moving from countries around moving back and forth between countries because they are experts in new technology and new ideas. So this transfer of information and people affects population and growth and settlement patterns. So these are some examples of a settlement pattern and what I mean by their arrangement on land. So linear is where the community settles in sort of a linear or a line. And this, of course, is settled around a river. And we can think back to the original settlement of Canada around the St. Lawrence River, why communities would settle in this pattern. Because they have water as a resource, they need it for their farms, they need it to meet their basic needs. This is a linear pattern. Scattered. This is where the settlements are spread out. There's spaces in between. An example of that would be farmland, where an individual would have a farm and they would have a huge part of land as their actual farm, so there would be space between where one residence was and another residence. So that's an example of scattered. Clustered. A clustered settlement pattern is when a community develops around a certain area, usually in relation to a human function or a source of their income. So for example, these have clustered around where they have access to a major highway, which might lead to an urban area or might lead to a mine, or it's leading to something that supports their economy. So they've clustered in these areas where they have access to this source of wealth. Geographers also want to study changing patterns, and there are lots of reasons why population patterns change. Population growth, a population increases or decreases, or certain age groups within a population increase or decrease, maybe because of health reasons or because of people leaving that community to go elsewhere. So population growth, whether it's increase or decrease. Development of resources. So a population may increase when a new resource, a new natural resource, or a new factory or a new form of industry is created. The population may grow in that community. It also may decrease when that resource has been used up or an industry shuts down. And there's a population increase and decrease. An advance in technology. So when a developing country starts to, their quality of life starts to improve because of advance in technology, where factories are more efficient, there's just farm equipment is more efficient, there's more of a draw, and so the population grows up, and the patterns change in how people arrange themselves with the land.